The young man delivering ice was deep in thought, wondering how he could possibly become rich just by hauling ice blocks. Suddenly, a sharp car horn jolted him out of his thoughts. A luxury car stopped in front of him. Behind the wheel sat a young man about his age, honking impatiently for him to move aside. A wave of frustration surged through Reed's chest. They were about the same age, so why was that guy driving a fancy car and living comfortably while he had to sweat under the scorching sun just to make ends meet? At that moment, a newspaper lying on the ground caught his eye. It told the story of a self-made millionaire, a man with no higher education who built his fortune with his own two hands. Reed felt a rush of excitement. He silently vowed, "One day, I'll make it on my own too." But dreams are often brighter than reality is kind. When he got home, there was only a bowl of leftover soup on the table. He complained that he wanted to eat something different, and his father quietly pushed his own bowl toward him. His mother, sick and coughing, could barely sit up. Reed asked his father why they hadn't bought medicine, but his father only shook his head helplessly. Reed held up the newspaper and said eagerly, "I'll be rich like that man someday. And when that happens, Mom will see the best doctor there is." His father's reply was cold and short. "Stop dreaming." That moment crushed Reed's heart. Late that night, while the world slept, he packed his bag and prepared to leave home in search of a better life. His mother watched him and whispered softly, "Go, my son." Holding back tears, he kissed her goodbye and set out on his journey. By dawn, he had reached the train station. With no money for a ticket, he planned to sneak onto the train. Just as he was about to make his move, a strong hand stopped him. It belonged to a seasoned fare dodger, who warned quietly, "Wait until the train starts moving. If you jump too soon, they'll catch you." When the train began to roll, the two sprinted and leapt onto the moving car. Just as a conductor's hand nearly grabbed his collar, Reed pulled himself aboard. That single jump became the turning point of his life. After a long and grueling journey, he arrived in Texas, a land of sun, dust, and opportunity. There, his gaze grew firm with determination. He saw a group of laborers heading to a farm for work and decided to follow them. The farm owner was hiring people to fix fences, but the line was long. Summoning his courage, Reed stepped forward and said, "I can carry 50 pounds of ice up 3 floors." Everyone burst out laughing, but the farmer, impressed by his boldness, decided to give him a chance. The days were hard, digging holes, stretching wire, hauling timber, all backbreaking labor. Reed was small and thin, and his work often went wrong. The others mocked him constantly, but he never talked back. While they rested, he kept working. One day, a young man named Gus noticed him and handed him a scoop of water. Gus's family had once been wealthy, but lost everything during the economic crash. He said, "When I make money again, I'll buy the bank myself." Those words ignited something inside Reed. The next day, Reed asked the farmer, "How did you become successful?" The old man looked at him and said, "To succeed, don't just follow others, learn to lead." That sentence hit Reed like lightning. He realized that being a leader wasn't about doing the most work, it was about working the smartest. So he came up with an idea. He proposed to the farmer, "If I finish the job ahead of schedule, can I keep the money we save?" Though skeptical, the farmer agreed. The next morning, while others were still asleep, Reed was already at work. He organized the crew into small teams of 3, one digging, one setting posts, and one filling and tightening the wire. The teams worked like clockwork, smooth and efficient. A job meant to take 3 days was done in just 1. On payday, the farmer handed Reed a thick stack of bills. Reed's hands trembled. "This is the most money I've ever seen in my life." From that day forward, with a sharp mind and relentless determination, Reed earned his first real income, and he knew this was only the beginning. Someday, he would become the kind of legend he once read about in that newspaper.